Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd like to do today, like I do virtually every other day, is to present a book. And the book that we've selected to present today is entitled So Much for That. A book that was authored by Lionel Shriver and published on the 8th of March 2011. And this novel is a poignant and thought-provoking book that explores themes of illness, family dynamics, and the complexities of life and death. A book that I'm hoping will resonate with most of us, with the lessons that it presents, and we'll see what we can take from this book, what we can learn, and what we can incorporate into our lives. So the first key message, the first key lesson from this novel is the focus on the harsh reality of illness. The reality is that sooner or later all of us will face illness in some shape or form, and this novel emphasises how chronic illness not only affects the person who is ill, but also deeply impacts their loved ones, creating emotional, financial, and physical strain on everyone involved. We look at the fragility of life, and this author, Shriver, explores the unpredictable nature of life and how quickly everything can change. The characters' experiences show that life is often fragile and plans can be upended in an instant. So a really powerful message for all of us to heed. And it's only once you've been there, once you've seen it, that you understand that life is indeed very fragile indeed. The author goes on to talk about the importance of personal choice, and this book raises a number of important and very interesting and confronting questions about the role of choice in shaping one's life, especially when faced with difficult circumstances, and how personal decisions influence both individual and collective outcomes. So the choices that I make in my life not only impact me as an individual, there are first, second, and third level consequences that flow on in many structured, direct, indirect, and unstructured ways, which are too complex and too complicated to be able to consider in one's mind, because you just don't know the impact that the decision that you make, or the decision that your partner makes, or the decision that somebody else makes, is going to have on you and your life and the life of those around you. The author talks about financial struggles and healthcare. And this novel critiques the American healthcare system, which is no different, I would imagine, to the Australian healthcare system, no different to the Greek healthcare system. They all have their advantages and disadvantages, but this book specifically critiques the American healthcare system and the immense financial burdens that illness can impose, particularly in terms of treatment costs, insurance, and the sacrifices people make to cover their own personal medical expenses. The author talks about marriage and compromise, and through the lens of the protagonist's marriage, Shriver highlights the complexities of long-term relationships and the compromises, the many compromises that individuals need to make when faced with life's challenges, including illness and financial hardship. Whilst everybody initially signs up for better or for worse, the reality is that nobody quite thinks or expects that their life is going to move towards the worse, and most people are unprepared for it emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and in all the ways possible. The author then talks about the burden of caregiving, and this book beautifully portrays the emotional and physical toll of being a caregiver, demonstrating the balance between love and duty, as well as the exhaustion and emotional toll caregivers often experience. I was speaking to my best man yesterday about his experience over the years with his ill mother, and it was very harrowing to hear what he went through, but to his credit, he did it to the best of his ability and with love and respect for his mother. The next point that the author talks about is facing mortality, and the author here delves into the inevitability of death and how different people cope with their mortality. It encourages readers to confront their fears of death and value of time and how one may choose to live a meaningful life. The strain of unmet expectations is also a theme that is discussed, and the characters in the novel grapple with the pressures of unmet expectations, whether in career, family, or health, highlighting the emotional fallout of disappointment and the ways people try to cope. We talk about the search of meaning in adversity, and the novel shows how individuals seek meaning during times of hardship, whether through relationships, spirituality, or personal reflection. The characters in this book look for ways to make sense of their circumstances. And the last key message that comes from this book is the limits of altruism. Through the interactions between characters, the book explores the complexities of altruism, questioning whether true selflessness is possible, or if people are always motivated by their own needs, even when they act in the service of others. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where we discuss a book, a quite serious topic, but an important topic to confront